Ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
We'll have expert insights on the economic outlook as we look ahead to 2016. And we'll share how NCBA is working to grow consumer demand for beef.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. We begin with an update on U.S. beef exports. After record highs last year, so far 2015 is painting a different picture. Beef exports remain sluggish, according to data released by USDA and compiled by the U.S. Meat Export Federation. Year-to-date, beef exports were down 11% in volume to just over 703,000 metric tons, and they dropped 5% in value to $4.31 billion. On the other hand, beef export value has averaged just over $286 per head this year, up more than $9 from just a year ago. On a value basis, the top export markets for U.S. beef so far this year are Japan, Canada, Mexico, and Korea. Joining us now to offer some insight into the export situation and the overall economic picture is Jessica Sampson, an agricultural economist with the Livestock Market Information Center right here in Denver. Jessica, thanks for coming back to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We've had some struggles with beef exports this year. Tell us a little bit about the global conditions causing that slowdown.
Well, there is quite a list so far this year, unfortunately. We started the year out not so well with a slowdown in the Western port situation, so it was hard for us to get exports out and imports in. In addition to that, we've had some global economic slowdown, the financial crisis in Greece, the Chinese economic slowdown. Russia still has a trade ban on agricultural products, and we've had an increase in the value of the U.S. dollar, which makes our products relatively more expensive for other countries. So, unfortunately, none of those factors have been beneficial for U.S. beef exports so far.
So is there any good news for beef exports, Jessica?
There actually is. I'm happy to say that there is. You know, looking down the road, probably to 2017, 2018, there's actually two countries that are in a really great position to take more market share in the global beef trade, and that's Brazil and the U.S. And the reason for that is that we've already turned the cycle. We're increasing our cattle herd. We'll be increasing our beef supply soon, so we'll have more product available on the market at a better price. And the reason we'll be more competitive is that Canada, Mexico, Australia, all of their cattle herds are shrinking. So as we see global economic growth, we'll see increasing incomes worldwide. More people have more money to spend on higher valued proteins, and they'll look to the U.S. to fill that gap, and we'll have more market share in the world beef trade.
So let's look ahead to 2016 specifically and tell us what you see from a overall economic outlook standpoint, both domestically and globally.
Right. So globally, I mean, there's a lot of questions throughout everything, right? Globally, a lot of eyes are going to be on China. The Wall Street Journal recently published an article saying China's economic growth is below 7% for the first time since 2009, I think it was. And then also there's going to be a lot of eyes on world oil prices and oil supply. So we want to see how that shakes out. Domestically, we have our own set of questions. You know, relative to global economic growth, the U.S. has been fairly strong this year, which is great news, but we're still very focused on GDP growth, very focused on job growth. Still a big question of when the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates. So, you know, down the road, there's a possibility that the U.S. Economy could slow. The really bright spot for cattle producers, though, is that if the U.S. economy slows, it could happen around the same time that the global economy picks up. So we see that increase in international beef demand, which could really offset any type of slowdown we see domestically if our domestic economy slows down. Great news for U.S. beef producers.
Absolutely. And let's talk about beef producers. What does this overall economic situation mean in terms of cost production and overall profitability for beef producers as we look ahead to 2016?
Great question. You know, we're getting our corn crop in for the harvest. USDA, if we realize the forecasted yield and harvest that we're seeing from them, it'll still be the third largest crop on record. So we're expecting pretty consistent corn prices, you know, between $3.50 to over $4, just over $4 a bushel. Good news for cattle producers, excuse me. Also, we see fuel costs are low. We've seen an increase in hay production, so we'll decrease costs on that side. So into 2016, there's some good news for cattle feeders specifically. They might actually make money. That's great news for the industry as a whole. And then LMIC does some forecasts for cash prices for fed cattle and feeder cattle. And looking into 2016, we see those prices coming down slightly. Fed cattle side, we see prices on an annual average down about 4% from this year. Feeder cattle, if you look at those 700 to 800 weights, we see those down about 10%. But penciling that out, looking at cow-calf returns for producers, we still see estimated returns that'll be the third highest really ever. So it's good news for cattle producers going into 2016, but we're increasing supply and we're moderating prices. Probably also good news for consumers.
So even given the turmoil that we've seen this fall in terms of cattle prices, we have some better times to look forward to hopefully this spring. Is that right?
Correct. You know, we've kind of seen the market turn around recently, which is great news. And at LMIC, we see that continuing to happen. Probably not reaching the record price levels we saw this past year, but some strength in the market and increase in supply, strength in prices, and good news for cattle producers.
Good. Jessica, thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.
Now, if you'd like more information, you can visit the Livestock Market Information Council website, and that's at lmic.info. And don't forget, you can watch video replays of our program anytime at our website, cattlemen2cattlemen.org. Still ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll tell you about a new effort to help explain how beef gets from the pasture to the plate. Plus, we'll take you to Wyoming to meet the man who was honored with this year's Golden Spur Award. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen on RFD TV. Set sail for San Diego and the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's the cattle industry's biggest convention with education, networking, and fun that can't be beat. Plus, you can check out the huge NCBA Trade Show, and there will be a special event held on the historic USS Midway. It's the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, January 27th through 29th in San Diego. Visit beefusa.org for more.
Your herd, your business, your family. You've always protected what matters most, so you know how important vaccinations are for healthy cattle. And with Vista vaccines from Merck Animal Health, you know you're covered. No other vaccine works like Vista. Only Vista gives you complete dual-action pneumonia protection and complete one-dose fetal protection for the entire pregnancy. Protect what matters most. Talk to your veterinarian or animal health supplier about Vista.
There are many great reasons to join NCBA, and that includes exclusive NCBA member-only discounts from Cabela's.
We have an exclusive membership program that allows members of NCBA to buy our Cabela's co-branded gift cards at a 15% discount.
Use gift cards towards Cabela's purchases either online, through the catalog, or in-store. NCBA members can also purchase logo apparel from Cabela's at a discount.
And we do all of the NCBA's merchandise through the website. In that program, you can receive up to a 30% discount through the NCBA site. And we have state association logos, all the Beef USA logos. We can use those to outfit your guys working on the ranch. Cabela's is proud to be a sponsor of NCBA and all their member base.
15% off gift cards to Cabela's plus savings on apparel is just one of the great deals you get as an NCBA member. Join today at beefusa.org.
Welcome back. One of the important ways the beef industry works to protect and grow consumer demand for beef is by telling the story of beef production. In fact, one of the questions many consumers have is simply, where does beef come from? Now, there's a new Checkoff-funded interactive beef life cycle graphic that helps to explain everything. It features pop-up information and videos that show what it takes to bring beef from the pasture to the plate. Here's an example of one of the videos that works to explain to consumers the role a feed yard plays in the process of producing beef.
The feedlot's more towards the end of the life cycle of the animal. When they come in, those cattle are received in receiving pens and fed hay, and then in the next 48 hours they go through the processing barn, which they would be vaccinated. We are feeding high quality feedstuffs to high quality cattle, and the result is very high quality beef that's very nutritious, very good to eat. Continuous improvement over the industry is what we're all about, and less stressed cattle are happy cattle. They just kind of move around freely. They have a lot of pen space, we call it pen density, so those cattle can move around. And cattle typically are creatures of habit. They'll eat about the same place every day on the bunk line, so you want a consistent, uniform feeding process because that animal's going to eat there. And they tend to hang together. At night they'll kind of lay in a herd, and part of that's just natural instinct of an animal. When we get ready to ship those cattle out, the pen riders will go out and remove the cattle and take them to a loading facility where they'll be loaded on the trucks, and they will be harvested.
Here now to discuss some of the ways NCBA helps to build beef demand is Mike Miller, Senior Vice President, Global Marketing and Research. Mike, tell us a little bit more about this beef life cycle graphic and specifically why it was developed.
Well, it's a representation of the life cycle that beef goes to from pasture to plate. What we've found over the course of the last several years, any number of years, is more and more consumers have a lot of questions about how beef is produced. And frankly, our industry is complex. And so this graphic representation has proven to be a very useful tool in helping consumers, those influencers that might be engaged in the discussion, as well as even retailers and food service operators, understand how beef gets to their plate.
You mentioned it. There's so much interest in the management practices, the feed products, the protocols that we use to produce beef. How has this graphic added value for those people who really do want to know where and how their food is produced?
Well, simply people that are getting questions just want simple answers to those questions. You know, there are a lot of concerns out there. There's a lot of gaps in understanding, and so we're doing all that we can from a national standpoint to help retailers, food service operators, consumers understand how beef is raised, how it's produced, and all that goes into that. And I think what we found is that the more that we're there and answering those questions, the better off all of us are, because they just want to feel comfortable about what they're eating, what they're feeding to their family, and ultimately that's our job, is to help them get those questions answered that they have, and they tend to follow a fairly common theme, and these graphic representations like this have proven to be very useful tools in helping further that dialogue and that conversation.
It's an outstanding method. So talk to us more about how NCBA is working through the checkoff to build beef demand in other ways.
Well, we've got a whole lot of different efforts. You know, this is just one kind of representation of part of what we do. You know, we've spent a lot of time focusing on the millennial consumer. You're going to hear that over and over and over again, and that's just a younger demographic that, frankly, is part of these conversations about how beef is produced. So we're working an awful lot directly with them, trying to help inspire them, trying to be there when they're looking for, you know, dinner recipes. Well, you know, what am I going to cook tonight? We want to make sure that beef is first and foremost on their minds. We also spend an awful lot of time and a lot of efforts working with retail and food service to help them understand how dynamic and how versatile beef can be. You know, we've spent a lot of time the last several years talking about high beef prices, so that those efforts, I think, are really going to pay dividends over the course of the next several years as the market changes a little bit. But there's a lot of different things going on, a lot of different ways that we work every day to help retailer, food service, and ultimately the consumer to hopefully eat more beef.
Choose beef.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the millennial generation. I know they're huge consumers of digital media. Talk to us about how you're ramping up efforts in that area.
Well, it's been a big change for us over the last several years. You know, digital is really about being where the consumer is in real time. You know, we're kind of used to thinking of marketing as kind of pushing and promoting, and really what it's turned into is just making sure that you're there when when they have questions, there when they're looking for inspiration. And that's really where our efforts are sharply focused today, is making sure that beef is there when they're looking for that inspiration. Beef is there when they've got questions about dinner time or about how beef is produced. We would just want to make sure that those questions those answers are there for those questions when they've got them, and so they feel like we're having the conversation in real time.
You mentioned high beef prices. Certainly we've been at a historic high over the last 12 to 16 months here in the beef industry. What are you doing to help producers or help consumers believe that in fact beef is worth the dollars that we're asking them to pay for it?
Well, they've certainly proven that with their pocketbook. I mean, we've seen tremendous growth in beef demand over the course of the last several years, and now we're kind of preparing for the next phase, if you will, in the cattle cycle. We're going to have more beef production. We're going to have some pressure on our markets at a time when we've got a lot of pork and a lot of chicken. Mm-hmm. So these demand-building efforts, I think, are even more focused today than maybe they were 10 years ago. Sure. Because we really have to be there for the consumer and ultimately for our producers who pay all of our bills. So we do think that we're entering kind of a new phase here, and we're excited to be part of that conversation with consumers and hopefully getting them to enjoy more beef each and every day.
So we'd like to hear. Thank you for everything you and your team does for the industry, Mike. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Now, if you'd like a closer look at the Beef Checkoff funded effort to reach consumers, just visit the website factsaboutbeef.com. Still to come on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll take a closer look at the NCBA Political Action Committee and the role it plays in protecting cattle-producing families and their way of life. We'll be right back.
Every truck can tow a boat. Every truck can climb a hill. Every truck can haul a trailer. But not everyone can say they're the fastest growing truck brand in America. Guts, glory, Ram.
There are many great reasons to join NCBA, and that includes exclusive NCBA member-only discounts, such as savings on new equipment purchases from Caterpillar.
CAT is proud to be a sponsor of the NCBA and provide member discounts on our equipment. We've been a partner with the NCBA for a number of years and are excited to offer you, the members, exclusive benefits.
NCBA members can save up to $2,000 when you buy or lease a qualifying machine, including backhoe loaders, skid steers, and more. Also save an additional $250 on select CAT attachments.
Caterpillar is proud to be a sponsor of the NCBA and work with you, the producers, on future equipment purchases. You can go to catresourcecenter.com to learn more about our products and offerings.
Saving big money on equipment purchases from Caterpillar is just one of the great deals you get as an NCBA member. Don't miss out. Join NCBA today at beefusa.org.
We're here with J.D. Alexander, past president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and current vice chair of NCBA's Political Action Committee. J.D., thanks for giving us a few minutes today.
Well, great to be here and good seeing you again, Kevin.
Tell folks just a little bit about what the NCBA PAC is.
You know, we're very proud of the NCBA PAC. As you well know, in today's industry, political action committees are very important to have as they play a big role in our elections that will be coming up not only next year, which is a very big one, but years to come. So it's very important that we have an active role in Washington, D.C. in helping to determine the right candidates that get elected to make the decisions on our behalf.
I want to follow up in just a minute about the next election cycle, but before I do, tell folks a little bit about some of the wins that the NCBA PAC has achieved over time.
We've got goals that we shoot for, and luckily we reached a lot of our goals as far as collecting the money that we have to distribute and put out to the various candidates. So we're very proud of that. We're reaching our goals, but we need to reach even further. The good thing, the success rate we've got, is that we've been able to select candidates, and we have a very high success ratio of who we give some money to that actually get elected. And of course, we're looking at those candidates very carefully to make sure that we're going to contribute to somebody that really has the best benefit of our industry in mind.
Yeah. And take, for instance, somebody, one of your neighbors back in Pilgrim, Nebraska. I mean, what benefits do folks out in the country see from NCBA's PAC?
You can look at your own industry and see that how much influence government officials, congressmen, legislators, senators, and so on have, because they're making the laws of how to operate our operations. And so we've got to be very cognizant that we don't get too overburdensome in these laws and regulations that we can't operate. So it's very critical of our staff in Washington, D.C. to make a determination of individual candidates to make the correct decisions on our behalf. So my neighbor down the road, you don't think it would happen, but a lot of the decisions that come out of Washington, D.C. and other legislative areas have a direct effect on their success or possible failure.
Absolutely. You mentioned the 2016 election. It's going to be a critical one, again, with presidential elections as well. What are some of your goals for 2016?
Well, first off, we've got goals of funds that we want to meet, and so we have adequate funding that we can give to some of the candidates. We're going to carefully evaluate the ones. We're going to look at the ones that literally are going to see eye to eye to our positions and the betterment of our industry. We actually interview the candidates to make sure that they're viable and looking out for our cattle industry. It doesn't matter what segment of the industry is. We need to have somebody that's looking out for agriculture, and in particular livestock production. So our goals are to hopefully get a higher percentage of our members to give to PAC and make a serious evaluation of who we will be getting the money to hopefully put and help get the right people into the positions.
And so what would you tell our viewers back home about how they can get involved?
The primary way is, of course, be involved in the association. Your association is out there to look out on your behalf every day of the year, every day when you're out there working and can't be over there lobbying your legislator. The other is we do need to ask you to give. This is a critical election cycle. We need to have the dollars to give to the right candidates to make sure in the long run that you're looking out, or they're looking out for our industry. I used to have a saying that I used a lot was, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And I've kind of learned a new one now, that if you're not a part of the Political Action Committee, you're going to be on the menu again. So we want to make sure that you're giving.
Great words to live by, JD. Thank you for your continued service to our organization. And we'll be back with more NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen right after this.
No storm is too powerful for new Purina Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, formulated with ultimate weather resistance. That means more minerals in the feeder and available to your cattle. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals provide more consistent intake and balanced mineral nutrition to optimize herd health and breedback rates. See the difference at your local Purina dealer or visit cattlenutrition.com. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, another way Purina is building better cattle.
New Holland is the undisputed leader in hay tools. We give farmers a wide range of innovative equipment that increases efficiency and productivity all year round. Because to us, smart means providing a smooth, clean cut with faster dry down, plug-free conditioning, and superior bale density. And smart means leaving less hay on the field to feed more livestock in less time. That's New Holland Smart. Visit your local New Holland dealer today.
Beef Quality Assurance is your consumer-friendly story. Becoming BQA certified allows you to share your story and ensure customers that we're responsibly raising a safe, wholesome, and healthy beef supply. The checkoff-funded BQA program equips you with the best management practices for handling cattle, tending to their health, and taking care of the environment. And now, thanks to a partnership with Beringer Ingelheim, you and your employees can earn a free BQA certification online from September 15th to November 20th. Visit bqa.org today.
Ram is the official truck of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. That means NCBA members can get exclusive discounts when they buy a Ram truck. While you may know that Ram builds outstanding trucks, you may not know that Ram is a partner committed to community service. We learned more from Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter.
On a fine September day in Michigan, the sweet corn harvest is in full swing thanks to the hard work of volunteers from Ram Truck. On this 125-acre farm, they're lending a helping hand to a food rescue organization called Forgotten Harvest.
So we're here today helping with Forgotten Harvest to collect sweet corn for our local community, and it's going to be donated to the local food banks. And it's really a way that we can give back to our local community and say thanks and, be able to do something for the local community.
We service about 260 different emergency food providers in Southeast Michigan in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties. And so those are things like food pantries, shelters, soup kitchens, things of that nature.
Forgotten Harvest with us was an easy connection. It gives back to our local community. It's convenient. We've got over 50 people out here from our local team engaged today, and we all like to give back, just like a truck customer. We all drive trucks. We all look for ways to give back to local communities.
The effort to support Forgotten Harvest is one example of the work of Ram Nation, a volunteer initiative started by Ram Trucks. Not only do employees of Ram get involved, but truck owners all across the country pitch in as well with disaster relief and community service projects.
So really, truck customers are always willing to lend a helping hand in the community. And so when the tornadoes hit through Tupelo, Mississippi back in 2012, we partnered with the first response team. And from that, we created this grassroots group called Ram Nation. And it's really how we can bring truck owners and dealers together to help for disaster relief or in order to help community service initiatives.
Ram has been a great partner since day one here on the farm, not only with the hundreds of volunteers that have come out to help, but also with the donation of the Ram truck that we use almost on a daily basis.
The sweet corn harvested in this field will help those who are in need of food in the Detroit metro area. For Ram, it's another way they connect with agriculture and the idea that building rock-solid trucks, serving the needs of farm and ranch customers, and helping in the community all go hand in hand.
You think about agriculture and trucks and you think about them together, and we really want to be able to promote the trucks in ways that are natural to our customers and the way that they're using them. So it's really a natural tie-in between agriculture and trucks, and Ram Trucks wants to be in those places where our customers are.
I think it gives everyone a sense of pride, and that's who truck customers are. That's who this Ram team represents. And when we come out here and just the little bit that we do, it really makes everyone feel good and feel proud to be a part of this Ram team, part of Ram Nation. And you step back and you think about it. Last year we were out here, we harvested 30,000 pounds of corn. And you think about that number, it's pretty incredible. We were able to do it in a day as a team.
That's Ram Nation, doing well while doing good. From the sweet corn fields near Detroit, Michigan, I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
To learn more about Ram Nation and Ram Trucks, just visit the website ramtrucks.com. The drought in California has had a devastating impact on the cattle industry and all forms of agriculture. Lack of water has resulted in reduced stocking rates and increased prices for hay and other feed. During a recent visit to California, Russell Nemitz visited Star Bee Ranch, a buffalo operation, to see the innovative way they're supplementing their hay and forage.
You know, Eric, we were talking about just how dry it's been here in California these past few years. Keeping your animals fed and watered, obviously a high priority here at the Star Bee Ranch. We're standing in front of a very unique machine called a fodder machine. Tell us about this.
Yeah, this is some technology we found at the Ag Expo that they have every year up in Tulare. It was coming out of Australia, which obviously deals with a lot of drought. And we really liked the technology, thought it was a great idea. It gives us access to we know our input, we know our output, and it gives our animals nutritious feed year-round. It requires a lot less water than say farming an acre of land or irrigating our pastures during this drought. So it's a nice way to supplement any type of grazing or foraging they can do out in the pasture, but they get something nice and moist as well. It's a whole food.
Basically, it's seed to feed in just a matter of days.
Yeah, it's a 6 to 7 day process depending on your machine, how you dial it in. Some people do 8 days. 6 to 7 days is usually optimal nutrition. We grow barley. You can supplement with other type of oil seeds or things like that if you want to do more marbling of the fat. It's really nice because you can kind of have a little more control over what you're doing.
You said basically each animal gets what you called is a biscuit, right?
Yeah, they're depending on the size of the animal, they love it so much. You know, the bigger ones will push the smaller ones away, but everybody has access to at least one. Some get 2 or 3 depending. But
hey, as humans, we like biscuits, so why wouldn't buffalo, right?
Yeah, put some gravy on it, right? So these are nice. You can see it's a sprouted mat, and they can eat the whole thing, which is great. It's great nutrition. It's a whole food, and there's no waste.
Eric, this fodder machine is pretty incredible, and I hope folks at home see it that way as well. But you said, really, it's seed to feed in just a matter of days, but a lot of the photosynthesis process happens in the last day or so.
Yeah, the seed itself actually stores most of its own energy, so much of the process doesn't even require light until, say, the last day. So we have a little bit of supplemental light on the end of this end of the trailer where the finished product comes out, and it's nature's miracle, basically. I mean, it's a seed, and seeds do what they're born to do, which is grow, which is great.
Absolutely. You said the bison absolutely love it. Tell us how you feed these biscuits to the animals.
Usually what we'll do, come in the morning, back the truck up to the end of the trailer, and we'll just grab one at a time, load them into the truck, and then we take the trays out, give them a quick cleaning, put seed back in, and load them into the other side, slide everything down, and do it every day.
Well, I know from the cattle industry side what cows will do if you actually feed them, some cake. They just go crazy. An old cow will turn into a yearling, if you will. They'll kick up their heels. I would have to assume the same is true for bison.
Yeah, they love it. They go nuts. They wait for it every day. They're kind of spoiled little babies, but it keeps them happy, keeps them contained. So it's a good way to handle them.
Absolutely. And we also wanted to ask, given the extreme dry conditions here in Southern California, is this fodder machine, is this process something you would have done regardless of the drought?
I think so. I think it's nice to be able to have control over an exact amount of feed every day, and to know that it's going to be there every day, to know that the price may fluctuate a little bit based on seed, but hay can fluctuate so much that different times of the year it's very difficult to secure decent pricing, and it's more work, but it gives us a better product year-round, which is nice.
Reporting from the Starby Ranch here in San Diego County, California for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, I'm Russell Nemitz.
And you'll have a chance to see agriculture in San Diego County in person as part of the pre-convention tour. Find out all about the tour and all the details of the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show at the website beefusa.org. When we come back, we'll head to Wyoming for a visit with the man honored with this year's Golden Spur Award. Stay with us.
Some call it a come from behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune. The feeling of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment.
Are you going to do this every time we treat a calf with Zuprevo?
Absolutely.
Well, all right then.
Don't let BRD interfere with his performance. Treat it with Zuprevo and get him back to his home pen. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for Merck Animal Health.
Hi, Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee. When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right, where it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots. When you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
Telling the truth and being real and feeding my family a home-cooked meal. That's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
It's time to gear up for fall and save big on a powerful John Deere 6M or 6R Series tractor. Choose any model from 105 to 155 horsepower and get up to $6,000 cash off. Or get 0% financing for 60 months and up to $1,000 off. From field to feedlot, you'll find the right fit in a new 6M or 6R Series tractor. Make your move today.
Last month at the National Ranching Heritage Center at Texas Tech University, the Golden Spur Award was given. This time, one of the outstanding leaders in the cattle industry was honored, Dave True of Wyoming. We learned more about Dave as Cattlemen to Cattlemen's Brian Baxter reports from Wyoming.
Tucked away in the Laramie Mountain Range of Wyoming sits the Double Four Ranch. The True family started ranching here in 1957 when Dave True's parents, H.A. Dave and Jean True, purchased the small cow-calf operation.
Almost 60 years ago now, our parents bought the Double Four Ranch, and we moved up here every summer. I spent from the day school got out in the spring to the day that school started in the fall, working up here at the ranch. And so they just taught us from day one what work should be and the value of Mother Nature and natural resources of the cattle industry.
You know, his parents bought the ranch when he was young. I don't know if he told you, but he got $1/4 a week for doing chores. And gradually that increased as he could handle more. But he started working at a young age. He just didn't go up there and play. He was doing his chores, and he always worked hard. He likes what he does in the office, but ranching is where he feels most at home. He respects animals, and he is in tune with them, and he loves the quiet of the outdoors, and he loves nature, and that's just where he's most at peace, is at the ranch.
Dave learned the value of $1 as a young boy on the ranch. What was once a small operation has grown immensely, and now True Ranches includes multiple locations across the eastern third of Wyoming. Dave's leadership and financial expertise has played a big part in the ranch's expansion.
True Ranches takes sort of an integrated approach to the cattle industry from conception through finished cattle. We do have 7 cow-calf operations that run mother cows, and from those we have our weaned calves that evolve into the feedlots that we have. We've got a couple of small feedlots in eastern Wyoming, and in support of those feedlots we have a couple of farming operations also.
The True family's success is also due to their diversified business, a combination of ranching, oil and gas, and even a community bank. True Companies is based in Casper, Wyoming, where the family's legacy in oil and gas started in 1948.
As far as the oil and gas industry is concerned, is that it goes back, honestly, generations. My grandfather worked in it. My dad, when he got out of college, he started working in the oil and gas industry for the Texas company, which is more commonly today known as Texaco. And it was in the late 40s that he and Mother decided to go out on their own.
It's very Wyoming, and I'm very proud. I mean, Dave has followed in his parents' dream, the American dream of free market, of building a business, both an energy business and a ranching business, and he has taken those businesses and they're better for his care, and that's what we talk about in ranching all the time, is leaving things better than when you got them.
As owner and partner of True Companies, Dave has many irons in the fire. The list of Dave's volunteer leadership positions on both the state and national level is long and demonstrates his dedication to the cattle industry.
Dad was very involved in industry support areas, felt very dedicated to giving back some of his time to the industries that had been so kind to him and the state that had been so kind to him. And he instilled that value in me, and I've always felt like we need to give back to the cattle industry because it has been so good to us and our family.
Dave has served on the Wyoming Beef Council. He's also been on the Cattlemen's Beef Board. And then I've served with him as an officer in NCBA. Dave recently has been the treasurer of NCBA. And everywhere and every time I've served with Dave, I knew that our association was going to be better for his service. His humbleness, his thoughtfulness, his attention to detail, his good rancher common sense, and his steady demeanor always steadied the whole officer team.
Those who know Dave the best say he is as true as they come. His ability to work with people has benefited the beef cattle industry and his own ranching operations.
I think what I'm most proud of Dave is he really is just a man of character and integrity. He is who he says he is. I think he's a quiet, forceful leader that people want to follow him. They listen to his advice. People have said to me when he's in committees, he doesn't talk the most, but what he says counts.
Dave and his wife Melanie are grateful for their family's rich heritage in Wyoming, and the couple says family is ultimately how they measure success.
Dave's one of 4 children, and I'm one of 2, but I always had a heart for I wanted to be part of a big family. And sadly, our first baby girl died of leukemia when she was 5 months. And we never had more biologically, but we were blessed to adopt 4 children, and they are truly the highlights of our life. And then the grandchildren have come along, and we've welcomed and cherished each and every one of them. For Dave and I, people are really what matters. And I just think the legacy of having children, and we really feel very blessed.
The reason our family is so critically important to me is that's the cornerstone of my value system. Melanie and I have fortunately had over 4 decades of sharing our lives together, and our children and now grandchildren, they are indeed the best part of getting a little bit older.
Dave's commitment to his family, his faith, and his passion for ranching are values he lives out every day, with an eye towards building on the true family legacy.
Legacy is a very important aspect to why I do what I do. It's the work value, if there is one that I have, it is to provide some opportunities to our family members, not just to our 4 children, but also to their children and those who are to follow.
Why not join Dave True as a member of NCBA? To do so, just visit beefusa.org or call 1-866-USA-BEEF. Now, when we come back, it's time for another visit with our friend Baxter Black. Stay with us.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
Beef quality assurance is your consumer-friendly story. Becoming BQA certified allows you to share your story and ensure customers that we're responsibly raising a safe, wholesome, and healthy beef supply. The checkoff-funded BQA program equips you with the best management practices for handling cattle, tending to their health and taking care of the environment. And now, thanks to a partnership with Beringer Ingelheim, you and your employees can earn a free BQA certification online from September 15th to November 20th. Visit bqa.org today.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, the long hauls, the never-ending chores, the unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W. Trusted.
If you're not using IMI Global's verification programs, you might as well set your money on fire. To give your wieners added value, no program begins without a traceable animal. Then add on BQA and other specialties, and you open up a whole new market for your calves. You might be thinking, the market's so good, why bother? You ever heard of making hay when the sun shines? You got a choice. Get in the game or visit IMIGlobal.com. America has its corn belt, its grassy plains, scenic mountains, and fertile south. And then there's California, the Horn of Plenty, #1 in the United States in egg production. They raise over 400 different commodities and produce nearly 1/2 of the fruits, nuts, and vegetables that we eat or export. Well, how do they do it? Well, for one thing, it's the 3rd largest state in the United States. It has verdant valleys, rich grasslands, 840 miles of coastline, abundant irrigation, and a good source of labor. But what is it that makes California so special? The California farmer is possessed of a mystique the rest of us sodbusters hold in awe and find unique. The abundance of their harvest, its variety and means, is impressive to a farmer who grows corn and soybeans. Now, it's not that we're not farmers in New York or Minnesota, but there ain't a sprig of artichoke in all of North Dakota, pistachios in Kansas, kiwis in Montana, or scarcer than a fig tree in the state of Alabama. And where did they get kumquats? Is broccoli Japanese? And why do all their Holstein cows speak Dutch and Portuguese? Well, the California farmer has evolved since he began. The land of milk and honey drew a simple kind of man. They arrived with expectations in their worn-out cars and boots, and they're amazed at their good fortune. They remember humble roots, because they think that they're still dreaming. Not sure it's going to last, like a starving cow that overnight is belly deep in grass. So in spite of their production and high-tech economics, they're just like us. They mostly read the market and the comics. Yet the California farmer, when you turn up all the lights, ain't nothing but an Okie with a loan and water rights. This is Baxter Black, and I like them all. I like corn and eggplant, apples, tomatoes, and kiwis, and celery, and lettuce. And the best of all, the big green chili from out there.
Thanks, Baxter. And we salute all of our fellow farmers and ranchers in the great state of California. Now, don't go away. We'll have more right after this.
I have never wanted to do anything other than be in the cattle business. We use Triangle on the cows because it's been safe and effective and it's done us a good job. We're asking these cows to do more, so that has been a change. We have had just phenomenal results. We have very, very little loss. 100% of our cattle get vaccinated with Triangle.
Set sail for San Diego and the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's the cattle industry's biggest convention with education, networking, and fun that can't be beat. Plus, you can check out the huge NCBA Trade Show, and there will be a special event held on the historic USS Midway. It's the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, January 27th through 29th in San Diego. Visit beefusa.org for more.
Welcome back. We're getting closer every day to the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show in San Diego, California. We asked several producers to share their thoughts on the value of the NCBA Trade Show.
We're able to see the new products. We're able to go through and talk with folks and understand what the new technologies are. We really like to see what is new coming out.
Well, I think the trade show is a great place to get new ideas. Sometimes I go with a specific thing that I want to see and learn more about, but sometimes I just enjoy walking through the booths and just seeing what all the new innovations and the new things are. And of course, it's fun to pick up some trade show items as well.
The NCBA trade show has always been an interesting, looking at new products, interacting with suppliers and other producers across the United States.
The NCBA trade show always provides, just the best, and whatever's out there in the forefront of our industry is going to be there.
The NCBA trade show is one of the great reasons to attend the convention. There's so many things to see, from vendors to livestock handling demonstrations to all kinds of things, meat cutting demonstrations. It is a wealth of information, and it's a great event for the whole family.
Get ready to set sail for San Diego. Get registered at the website beefusa.org. Well, that's our time for this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week right here on RFD TV.